morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Slovakia, and more specifically the High Tatras mountain region. This is a very cherished part of the world to Eastern Europe, and it is an incredibly posh place. Right behind me we have got a ski resort where the rich and the wealthy come. There is a private airport approximately 5 miles that way, and I've been invited out here by Rolls Royce to experience this. The brand new Rolls Royce Phantom, the 8th generation, and today I have got an entire morning with this car. Whereas normally on press drives, on media drives, we're paired up and we get to share the driving, Rolls Royce have managed to allocate me an entire Phantom for the day. And I'm yet to drive it, but I've got the key, and I think we can explore this incredible mountain region, find out whether this brand new £400,000 Rolls Royce is actually worth driving, or should you be driven in it? This is a conversation that I have with friends when we're on road trips, when we're talking about our 5-car dream garage. Would you have a Rolls Royce? And if you would you buy a Rolls Royce to be driven in, or would you drive it? Now, before driving this car, I would have a Wraith and drive it. So we're going to find out today over the next few hours whether I would want to drive the new Phantom or whether I'd want to be driven in it. So the exterior, interior and engineering has been revised, and I absolutely love the road presence that this car carries. The first generation came out in 1925, and it was the tuxedo, it was the 3-piece suit, it was the flagship model where customers would buy them to be driven in. However, the demand is slowly increasing for the Phantom to create a car that owners can drive as well as being driven in. So this is the most driver-focused Phantom to date, but without compromising the luxuries that you get in the rear of the car. This comes as standard like this, but it also comes as an extended wheelbase, which is just under 6 meters long, 6 meters. And the reason for that is so that Rolls-Royce can bypass Asian rules that any vehicle over 6 meters, you have to have a bus license to drive. When you get mountains, you get amazing driving roads. So let's see how this copes in wintry conditions, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more whilst I'm driving this about why this car still feels like a magic carpet on snow and ice. Here we go. We are currently staying at the wonderful 5-star resort in the High Tatras Mountains. Now, Rolls-Royce have obviously selected this because it fits with their true luxury brand, but also proves that Rolls-Royce in snow and icy wintry conditions, you can still arrive at your destination in class and style, which is everything a Rolls-Royce owner would want. My first impressions: the steering, incredibly light, and every time I have sat in the driver's seat, the passenger seat, or the rear of a Rolls-Royce, I am a calm, I'm a stress-free individual, and there is something magical about the way a Rolls-Royce feels when you are inside that turns you into a completely different person. Not only that, it changes your driving style. I'm more than happy to sit at 20-30 kilometers an hour, navigating the spirit of ecstasy left and right. But so far on these roads that really, these cars right here, unless you've got studded tyres or at least, or the very least, winter tyres, would seriously struggle. Now, this road that we're driving on is quite a frequently used road, but I'm being told that we are getting taken to a road that is less than frequently used, meaning that I'm going to have to get to grips with this car very quickly at higher speeds than what we're currently going at, and how this car handles. And it all comes down to physics, but it also comes down to the unique engineering that Rolls-Royce have put into their cars to do with the track width, the length of the wheelbase, but also the narrowness of the tyres is actually a fundamental part in making this car have grip. Usually wide tyres aids in getting traction. Now, without realizing and getting carried away with my pieces to camera, I have actually just realized that we are on the road that is covered in sheets of ice and snow, and we've had cross-country skiers, we've had joggers on this road, and it is impressive to see how this car can cope with fairly low speeds. We're not going crazy speeds, but it's not going all over the place. Traction is not kicking in, and it is not freaking out on the computer. And this comes down to the 4-corner suspension system combined with a 360-degree tilt mechanism that they can manage and read the car's balance, weight distribution over terrain such as this. The car's computer and technology is able to read the terrain, the different terrains, and then combine that with the pressure grip that you have from the narrow tiles and the way that the car is set and distributed, allows you to enjoy cars at 1,500, 2,000 meters above sea level, where it is just snow. The only place that I can describe that's quite similar to this is Sweden. We are now on a tarmac mountain road with some beautiful scenery around, and whilst I am still limited to 90 kilometers an hour, the next video that you're going to see will show what happens when we are not limited to any sort of speed limit. But with the new Phantom, when are you ever going to feel like you need to utilize the power that this car has from its 6.75 litre twin turbo V12? Now, the interesting thing about this engine that I found out, 563 brake horsepower or 571 PS, whichever rate of power you like to talk in. This car does 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds with a top speed of just over 150 miles an hour. Now, what I am so fascinated by is the engine and torque delivery. This has got 900 Newton meters of torque. So it has got more torque than my AMG GTS had after I tuned it by Rentec. Now, whereas the likes of, let's use an example, a Lamborghini Aventador has all of the torque at the top end, and it's a very progressive acceleration, so much so that when you jump in that car, yes, it's naturally aspirated, you plant your foot on the floor and you get thrown back, but it is only at the top end of the revs that you feel that power and the speed of the car. And in the Aventador SV specifically versus, let's say, a Huracan, they're both very similar in terms of speed. The Huracan Performante is probably quicker in a quarter of a mile than the Aventador SV. Once the Aventador gets over 150 miles an hour, then the V12 really kicks in, it really winds up, and it becomes an absolute powerhouse. This car, all of the power, 100% of the 900 Newton meters of torque, comes in at 1,700 RPM. That's 1,700 RPM, which is so low down on the rev counter, meaning that when you put your foot down, you get all of the power almost instantly. It is the closest thing that I've experienced to an electric car, which is a light switch. You get 100% of the power immediately when you put your foot down. This is incredibly similar, but does a fantastic job of shedding any weight that you might feel, making this car feel incredibly light, but also providing a performance element to this car that you might not have got from previous generations. But I feel like now I should introduce a chauffeur and jump into the back of the Phantom and experience it from the back, and then make up my mind as to whether I would buy one of these to drive or whether I would want to be driven. Here we go. I am now in the back of the Rolls Royce, feeling very luxurious, very important, but at the same time incredibly comfy. And now I get to experience the ride quality without holding onto the steering wheel, which is a completely different experience again to sitting in the driver's seat. And the one thing that I have noticed immediately from being back here with this lovely chap is that you get to look at the gallery, which is situated on the dashboard. Rolls Royce have engineered essentially an art gallery. They've noticed that a lot of their owners and a lot of their customers, I've got massaging seat on, how have I got that on? And the gallery on the dash actually provides an opportunity for customers to put custom pieces of artwork in, commission new pieces of art that will sit primarily in the gallery. When you're in the driver's seat, you are concentrating on where you are pointing the spirit of ecstasy, the dimensions of the car. But when you're sat here, you get a lovely view of what could be artwork over there. There are so many elements to the value of this car. £400,000 is an obscene amount of money, but when you see the level of detail and the level of luxury that goes into this, just how rare and unique everything that is involved in this car is, it's just justified. It's as simple as that. As a driving experience, it's amazing. Sitting back here, it's amazing. I still think that if I had a Phantom, I would probably want to be chauffeured 80% of the time, but if I was ever going to dinner with my girlfriend, then I would drive, which is a nice flexibility to have. Let's see what these buttons up here do. You can control the door, volume up and down. What are they? Oh. Oh. So you can change the gradient. Do you know what? That's actually comfy there. Even the wooden veneer gives me a reflection of how I need a new pair of jeans, which is impressive. And one final thing that my chauffeur is currently testing out is this piece of leather, the armrest, is also heated. So this car has got a heated steering wheel, it's got heated seats, and it has also got a heated armrest. I think the next thing that this car's going to have is heated flooring, like all of these luxury kitchens out there now. It's going to have heated flooring. It's just going to be an absolute extension to pure luxury living. So hopefully that gives you an idea or an understanding to the pinnacle of luxury car. And whilst the Phantom is still the flagship beast that Rolls Royce manufacturer, I cannot wait to start seeing these cars on the road. I'm very excited about their high-bodied Rolls Royce that will be coming this year as well, because I feel like that is going to be an interesting rivalry in the 4x4 market. But right now, we've got the opportunity of heading down to a closed airfield, which is the middle part of the day here in Slovakia. So I'm going to wish you guys an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you tune into the next 24 hours because, well, I don't think you're going to expect what you're going to see, because we're in Slovakia. Fine. We're driving a Rolls Royce. A little bit weird in Slovakia, but fine. But what we're going to do with the Rolls Royce is something that I don't think has ever been done in Slovakia, and if it has, it's never been documented on YouTube. So thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments as well whether I've done a pretty good job, a well-rounded review, first impressions, drive, chauffeur driven type thing. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about this, because it is such an experience to get invited to this that I want to share it.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi. Các bạn hãy bấm like, comment và hãy bấm nút đăng ký để ủng hộ cho kênh mình nha.